Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. We are going to be working on some opening for the front side of the legs and the hip flexors. We will be doing some kneeling stuff, so you may benefit to have a blanket or a couple blankets or a towel available just so that you can put it as padding underneath your leg. But to get started, let's just come to a nice comfortable standing position. Bring the arms down by the side, take the shoulders, roll them up, roll them down, roll them back. And just start to bring the awareness to your breathing. If possible, you're going to be breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. And try to make the breath as normal as possible. I know that once we start to focus on the breath, sometimes we start to try to control it, but if possible, just keep it normal. And if the eyes were closed, go ahead and bring them back open. We're just going to start to move with our breathing, start to warm up the legs before we stretch into them. So on your next inhale, we'll just sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, just press the arms down. Do that again. Inhale, sweep up, really reach towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, add some engagement like you're moving through something a little bit heavier than air. One more time, we'll sweep up. And exhale, comes down. We're going to move through some fluid chair pose. So inhale lifts you up, and then you'll pull the hands to the heart space and start to sit down and back. We won't hold for very long. We're just starting to get moving. And then we'll stretch back up as we inhale. And we'll go right back into it. Hands pull to the heart space. Weight goes a little bit more into the heels. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Inhale presses you back up. Lengthen up out through the fingertips, and as you exhale, pull the hands to the heart space. We'll sit down one more time. Weight a little bit more into the heels, really squeeze the inner thighs, press the back side of your bum back, and then lift the torso. And reach up. And this time as you exhale, we're going to go ahead and forward fold. I'm going to take my feet pretty wide. Go ahead and take your hands to your hips. Any distance for the feet that works. And then exhale, just come into a forward fold and shake out the head. Shake it no. Shake it yes. And then slowly you're just gonna roll up one vertebra at a time. And then go ahead and come to the top of your mat. We will be utilizing some wall space. I should have said that right at the beginning, but we're not quite there yet. So hands come to the heart space. Inhale sweeps you up. Exhale, forward fold. Take the hands to the shins. Inhale, half lift. You can keep your knees bent here totally. Exhale, think about drawing the chest in towards the knees. One more time, inhale. Exhale, fold. And then we'll gently bring the right leg back. Left knee directly on top of the left ankle. And then you're going to just gently lower that back knee down. Take the hands up to the thigh. And keeping some engagement in the glute on that right side, go ahead and press the hips forward. This is a nice opportunity to open up the chest too. So you can interlace the hands, or you can just reach them down and back. Pressing the right hip forward and drawing the chest up. And then squeeze the glutes on the right side. And from here, sweep the arms back up. Exhale, the hands come down, tuck the back toes. You're in a low lunge, left leg is forward. So there can totally be weight in the hands, but make sure you're not dumping all the weight into the front side of the body. And then add a little spring on that back foot. Exhale, bring the right leg forward. Let the head hang heavy. Take an inhale, half lift. The heart presses forward. Exhale, fold. And then slowly, you're just going to roll up one vertebra at a time. And then go ahead and come to the top of your mat. We will be utilizing some wall space. I should have said that right at the beginning, but we're not quite there yet. So hands come to the heart space. Inhale sweeps you up. Exhale, forward fold. Take the hands to the shins. Inhale, half lift. The heart presses forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. We'll do the other side. Weight to the right foot, the left leg goes back. So adjust as needed so that the right knee is directly on top of the right ankle. If your knee's too far forward, if you look down, your ankle's gonna look really creased. So draw the knee back, bring the awareness to the outer hips, and then imagine them squeezing into midline. We'll gently lower the back knee down. Take the hands up to the thigh. And then go ahead and just press the hips forward. This is definitely a nice place if you need to put a blanket underneath that back knee. You feel any sort of tension, and you can stay exactly like this, or maybe you start to widen the chest out. More about the sternum pressing up, worry less about the head going back. Squeeze the glutes on the left side, maybe a little bit more press, and then inhale, lift up, touch down with the hands. This time we're just gonna bring it back into a tabletop position. We'll go through 3 rounds of cat-cow breathing. So as you inhale, you'll start to draw the chest forward and up, the belly drops, the tailbone lifts, and then exhale, really round, as if you're gonna press the ground away from you. Inhale, open up, and then exhale, press the ground away. Maybe even tuck the toes and kind of lean back. One more round, inhale. And if it's ever irritating to lift the chin, you can just keep the chin down. Exhale, round. Back to neutral when you're ready. And then we'll go ahead and draw the right leg forward again. But this time we'll take the foot a little bit out to the right so that the hands come to the inside of the right foot. And then we'll just press that left hip forward and down. This is a perfect place to be. I like to stay here. If you need more stretch and your body's telling you more, you drop the forearms down. I feel way too much compression in my right hip doing that, so I stay lifted. And then really think about drawing the left hip forward, and then the back knee pulls towards the front foot, and the front foot pulls towards the back knee. And then really gently release out of it. Come back up on your hands if you were dropped. That right leg comes back. This time the left leg comes forward. Walk it out to the left a little bit, as much space as you need so your torso fits to the inside of the thigh. And then the hands can drop. Of course, you can drop your forearms. You could even lift the back knee. But I feel plenty of stretch and opening right here with my hands lifted. In fact, I feel a better stretch, staying a little bit more lifted, but then working on drawing my right knee to my left heel and my left heel to my right knee. And your muscles in your body, they work in different ways. Sometimes they work together and sometimes they work in opposition of each other. So if you squeeze your glutes on the right side, they're antagonists to your hip flexors. So they will, by engaging the glutes, you will actually help open up the hip flexors on the right. So that's what I work on here, because that's where I really need it. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and release. We'll do one more round, cat-cow, just to kind of get everything centered again. Inhale, opening up the front side of the body. And exhale, open up the back side of the body. And from here, we're going to use that wall space. So I already have 2 blankets back here. But what we're going to do, walk your knee back onto the blanket, and then you're going to bring your left foot up on the wall. Take that right foot forward. The angle of your back leg is totally dependent on you and your anatomy. So if you need to be way far away from the wall, that's totally cool. You will also feel the stretch differently depending on the angle of that back leg. So the more bend that you have, the more you're going to feel it in your quads. The less bend, the more you're gonna feel it more in your hip flexors. So you can totally stay just like this once you get that kind of situated on the back foot, or you can lift up and then mess around here with where you need to be. If you come up and you're like, whoa, that's way too much, you can always drop down. And then can you squeeze the glutes on the left side and the hamstring muscles. One more breath. And we'll switch, going in to the right side. So go ahead and just do what you need to do to get out of that. Take the right knee back, left foot comes forward. And you may be totally different on this side. So instead of using the two sides to judge one from the other, can you think about it more as just like an exploration of the body, how it works, how you use both sides differently. Squeeze the glutes on the right side and the hamstring muscle, and then pressing the chest up. Go ahead, release out of that. I'm just gonna kind of walk myself forward. So then coming to all fours after you kind of shake it out. Go ahead and bring your two knees to touch, stretch your right leg back, lift it up, and then place it over to the left side of your mat. You can stay looking forward, or you can start to look down towards that back foot. And then this is gonna definitely be personal based on your anatomy. I have to kind of like drop my right hip down. That might be too much for you. So see where you need to be for the stretch. I really feel this in the outside of my right hip, but it definitely can change day to day. Sometimes I feel it more in my rib cage. One more breath. And then really gentle on the lower back coming out of that. Take the two knees back together, stretch the left leg back, lift it up and over to the right. And now you're looking down towards the back foot, over your right shoulder. You can stay a little bit more even with the hips, or maybe you need to press that left hip kind of down. Little bend in the elbows, so make sure you're not locking out the arms. And then gently release out of that. Let's do one more cat-cow. Inhale. And exhale. And from here, just gracefully find your way into a seated position. And we're gonna roll all the way down to our backs. You can use the support, hands on your thighs to get down there. Once you're here, think about the crown of the head pressing away from the shoulders. Maybe walk the fingertips more towards the feet. Maybe even try to squeeze the shoulder blades together underneath you. And then see if you can just feel your abdomen move as you inhale. And then can you feel it move as you exhale? And draw that awareness up to the chest. Feel it rise and fall with the breath. And from here, take the arms. They can come into a cactus position with the elbows bent 90 degrees, or if you prefer them out like a little T, you can do that. Take the feet about as wide as the mat, maybe wider depending on the length of your legs. And as you exhale, gently let the knees fall over to the left. Inhale, then back up to center, and exhale to the right. Can you keep the movement going, inhaling up, exhaling over. And can you do it without being choppy? So it should be a nice fluid movement. Over to the right as you exhale. Inhale up to center. This time exhale over to the left and hold. And then take a gander down your leg. You want your right thigh pretty much parallel to the outer edge of your mat. So you may have to walk the right foot out to the right. And from here, stretch the arms overhead, biceps in line with the ears, grab onto the right wrist with the left hand, and then press the hands away from you. And in opposition, if it's okay, press your knee away from you. Really stretch her. And then gently pull the knees back up. You may have to kind of negotiate the feet around and the hips around, feet back to mat's distance, and then let the legs fall over to the right. I already know I have to bring my left foot out to the left a little bit. You can take a gander so that your thigh is parallel to the long edge of the mat. And then stretch the arms overhead, grab onto that left wrist, stretch the hands away from you, and press the knee away from you. And then gently come back up through center. Give yourself a little squeeze. You can rock it out here. And then actually go ahead and pull your forehead and knees towards each other. Squeeze in. Feet come back down to the ground. Go ahead and just roll over to one side. Use the top arm to press yourself up. Go ahead and grab on to a blanket or two. We're going to do a little final seated, sitting in hero's pose. So you're going to take your knees to touch, your feet to separate. You may need multiple blankets here. You don't want to be sitting on your heels, so the heels are to the outside edges of the hips. If you know that your knees don't do this, you don't have to do this. You can sit a different way, or you can even stack yourself so that you're way high up, sitting on maybe like a few blocks or a few books if you don't have blocks. And from here, try to elongate the back so that you're lifted but not rigid. The chin tucks slightly, and the ears draw back over the shoulders. It's almost like you're going to give yourself a little double chin. We'll take one more breath here. Eyes open if they were closed. Go ahead and bring the hands forward. Move the blanket out from behind you and just stretch one leg back and then the other. So this is a perfect little addition if you just did a workout, if you just finished a run, or if you just want to do this on its own, that's totally perfect too. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that the front of your legs feel a little bit better and that your hips feel a little bit better as well. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.